spot, bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge, nieces, nephews all lean in. Breaking down fights, cold stat daddy supreme. On just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged. From the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick. Hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls, deep predictions, he be making those calls. Getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jazz to takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight night kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It's your Uncle Weezy here live on a Friday afternoon. Tomorrow, we've got UFC Mexico City, which is going to be headlined by Brandon Moreno and Steve Erceg, 5-round flyweight fight. This is a really fun card, and it's not even a pay-per-view card. This is just a fight night, but a co-main event of Manuel Loco Torres going up against Drew Dober. We've got some exciting young prospects on this card. We've got some really good matchups between two good, well-rounded fighters, like, for instance, the Rodriguez versus Costa fight is going to be excellent. We got a lot of good stuff coming up on this card, and I've already, for my odds shopper people, broken down this card in painstaking detail. Did a 2-hour balls deep breakdowns on Wednesday night. Did almost a 2-hour version of probability yesterday, where we went through all the plus EV bets that are sticking out on this card. And I've got some money line bets. I've got a parlay. I've got a couple props that I'm going to pull the trigger on here now that we're almost done with the week. And yeah, about to finish up my slate, hoping to keep the winning streak going. That's, we've been really hot over here. I've been putting in the work. I've been grinding it out, but we are making some money. The proof is in the pudding over here on Bet MMA Tips. Let me share my screen with you guys here. Okay. There we go. We were up 8.21 units last week. We had a 3-unit bet on Marcin Tybura at -105. Very close fight. Could have went either way, but we cashed that one. We had Sean O'Bannon to win by submission for a quarter unit at plus 1,800. That cashes for 4.5 units. We had Keelan Loughran to win by decision at plus 220 for 1 unit. That cashes for 2.2 units. We had Chris Duncan, the plus 3.5 points handicap at plus 165. That cashes for 1.65 units. And then my parlay went tits up, you guys. Charrier to win, over 4.5 in the main event, and then Chris Duncan fight doesn't go to decision. That was Christian Leroy Duncan. So yeah, 3-leg parlay, all 3 legs miss. We lose a unit there. I had a unit on Jai Herbert to win by decision. Very close fight. Could have went either way. That was 1 bounce that didn't go my way, but I had 2 bounces that did go my way with Tybura and Keelan Loughran getting those decision wins. And then we had a Charrier to win inside the distance for 1 unit at plus 300. If that hits, the take this job and shove it parlay would have hit for plus like 8,000 or some crazy shit like that. Maybe it was plus 4,000. I don't know. Whatever it was, it would have been a massive hit. But yeah, almost 100% return on investment, 8.21 units up last week, 7.74 units we made the week before that, 5.78 units that we made the week before that. We lost 3.5 the week before that, made a half unit the week before that, and made almost 12 units the week before that. So we're having a phenomenal year, like almost a 30% return on investment. We're up close to 30 units already this year. So join me on the Odds Shopper. Become a part of the crew where you not only get access to my track bets, but you get access to all my fight write-ups that I do every week, which you see right here. Painstaking detail of every fight on the card, uh, picks for the fight, summary, advantages and disadvantages of both fighters, breakdown of the grappling, breakdown of the striking, breakdown of the strength of schedule, breakdown of the current trends and trajectories of both fighters. We go into painstaking detail about all this stuff. And it's this work that I'm putting in. That's the reason why you see me #1 on UFC predictions tracker in terms of correct pick percentage and return on investment of those picks. That's why you see the big plus money numbers that I'm putting up every single week here this year. It's because we're putting in the work over here. Join the odds shopper, become a part of the team, see all this work that I'm putting in, see balls deep breakdowns every week, see probability every week, see these fight write-ups, see these beautiful stat packages with the betting models that I put together for every fight on the card. And then join us in the Discord community and get access to all the tracked bets that I make every week. So that's the best way to support my work. If you guys were to do that, I would be very grateful. Check out the link in the description of this video. Click that odds shopper link, 20% off your first month's membership with code NEW20 used at checkout. I hope you guys are having a great week. I'm looking forward to having another great week here. I've got about 6 or 7 units in track bets on this card so far, and I'm probably going to be adding a couple more later on today. But let's just get into the content here, you guys. I'm going to take you through a full card breakdown here that we're going to go through real quick. I'll give you my dog pick of the week. I'll give you Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, and then I'm going to give you a Greasy 4-leg parlay with some meat on the bone. And then I'm going to talk to all of you guys in the chat and see what's going on with you guys today. So let's start with the first fight of the night, which is going to be Markel Medeiros versus Austin Hubbard. So I'm picking Austin Hubbard to win this fight, and I'm picking him to win by decision. Austin Hubbard recently made the move from Elevation Fight Team to Valley Flow Striking right here in Chicago, Illinois. And I really liked what I saw from Austin in his last fight against Alexander Hernandez. He pushed a really heavy pace for 3 rounds of that fight. He mixed in at least 10 takedown attempts. Hernandez showed really good takedown defense, but Hubbard was moving forward. Hubbard was throwing more volume. Hubbard was mixing in the wrestling. He was winning a little bit in the clinch as well, and really just putting a pace on Hernandez. And at elevation, if Austin is ready to push that pace again here against Markel Medeiros, who is on short notice, I think that that's going to be enough for him to get his hand raised here. I'm hearing that the ground game of everybody over at Valley Flow Striking is looking much, much better now that Gerald Mearshart is over there. So I think that we're going to see an improved Austin Hubbard even from the last fight here. I think he's ready to go. I think he's the people at Valley Flow Striking, his coaches are, in my opinion, really utilizing the best parts of Austin's skill set. And that is the durability, the pace, the pressure, and the volume. Austin isn't a one-punch knockout power guy. He's not a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt who's got this crazy opportunistic submission game. He doesn't have those gifts, but he does have excellent conditioning. He does have good durability, and he does have that conditioning that can push a pace for 15 full minutes. So if he fights with that forward pressure, if he puts out that volume, I think he's the massive strength of schedule advantage that Austin has here, the solid experience advantage. He's been the much more active fighter as of late. And I think Austin's the better wrestler here too. So because of those things, I'm picking Austin Hubbard to win this fight by decision. The next fight is going to be Jamal Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. Emmers minus 360, Miranda plus 295. Fight doesn't go to decision here, juiced up at minus 220. So I'm picking Emmers to win this one by first round knockout. And I don't know what round it's going to happen in, but I really do see this fight ending early, either in the first round or in the first half of the second round. Emmers has been throwing with power recently. He used to be known more as a decision guy, But I think he finally figured out, that they're not paying me by the minute in here. And he's went out there and he's been a lot more aggressive in recent fights. And Miranda is a guy who's entirely dependent on the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in order to win fights. If you look over here at my stats package, which is available on the odds shopper, you guys should get on that link and become a part of the team over there. Miranda is 16-0. You can see it right here. He's 1-3 to the knockout. He's 16-0 to the submission, and he's 0-4 to the decision as a professional. So Miranda is entirely dependent on his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in order to win fights. And Jamal Emmers has historically had excellent takedown defense, as he's only being averaged taking down 0.2 times per 15 minutes on 2.2 attempts, showing 90% takedown defense. And it's not like Gabriel is some kind of phenomenal wrestler. He's a more of a jiu-jitsu player than a wrestler. So he's just got to try to create some scrambles. He's got to try to get to the back standing, anything that he could do to drag this into the grappling realm, and hope that Jamal Emmers makes one of his trademark boneheaded fight IQ decisions in the fight that winds up, playing right into what his opponent is looking to accomplish. So I'm hoping that Emmers finds the off button here early, but if he doesn't, I still think that Jamal's got really good conditioning. He always has. And he's got a lot more paths to victory. I mean, Jamal's the better wrestler. He's definitely the better striker. I think he's fought the much better brand of competition, especially here at the UFC level. And, I think he's going to be ready to kind of get the job done here and find an early finish against Gabriel Miranda. The next fight, Rafa Garcia going up against Vince Pichel. Garcia minus 500, Pichel plus 375. Fight doesn't go, sitting at plus 225 here. I'm picking Rafa by decision just because he's a lot younger. I mean, Vince is 42 years old, and Rafa's a really good wrestler in his own right. So I think that Rafa might be the guy with the better conditioning, just a little bit faster, a little bit better wrestling, and just a little bit more I'm not finding the word, motivation to win, because he's the young man here. We know that Vince is pretty much done here at 42 years old. He's approaching the end. And, while Vince, I think, can keep this close, I do think that Rafa is going to get his hand raised here. Both of these guys are very durable. So I see this one going the full 15 minutes. And I think Rafa's probably going to be the one getting his hand raised here. But Vince Pichel by decision is plus 575 on BetOnline Sportsbook. I think that's worth a little sprinkle here, because I don't see Rafa running away with this fight anywhere. He's not, he doesn't have a skill set that's way better than Vince really in any area of MMA, other than just being the younger fighter here with more reason to really need a win. But outside of that, I think these guys are going to be fairly well matched. So I'm not looking to lay minus 500 at all on Rafa Garcia. This is dog or pass for me, but I'll give a Rafa Garcia by decision as my official pick. Next fight, Godinez versus Pilastri. We got Godinez as a sizable favorite here, around minus 280. Julia Pilastri plus 240. Fight doesn't go to decision for this one at plus 375. So, yeah, I mean, like, Godinez it shouldn't be this big of a favorite, but when I analyze this fight, I think it's going to be close on the feet. I think they're well matched there. But we've seen Julia get taken down and held down in numerous different fights. You can even watch in LFA in the Brenda Gotig fight. She gets taken down in the first round and put on her back. Obviously in the Jasmine Jasudavicius fight, but that doesn't mean as much to me because it was a little while ago. And because Jasmine, she was up a weight class, Julia was fighting Jasmine up at 125, while Julia's really a straw weight. So, for a straw weight to be out wrestled by Jasmine Jasudavicius, it's not surprising at all. It's not like you can hold that against Julia. But Lupita does her best work when she wrestles. When you look at Lupita's career in the UFC, she's had a lot of close fights. But when Lupita's going out there and getting takedowns, that's when she's really rinsing her opponents. And if you look at the Silvana Gomez Juarez fight, if you look at the Elise Reed fight, if you look at the Carnelossi fight, if you look at the Luke Boonmi fight, those are 4 fights where Loopy is going out there and getting 4 or more takedowns and is winning 6 or 7 more or more minutes in control time using that wrestling. And that's the biggest difference I see between these two fighters, is that I think they're both going to have excellent cardio. I think they're both very durable. I think they're both very good strikers on the feet, above average strikers for the women's strawweight division. But the biggest difference I see is that Loopy can wrestle, and Loopy has that in her back pocket. Now, if you lay minus 250-ish on Loopy Godinez and she's not out there shooting takedowns, you are going to be absolutely furious. You're going to put your own fist through the wall. You might throw your remote through your television. As my guy Brady says, you might throw your phone into the Ohio River or whatever river or body of water. And for me, it would be Lake Michigan. I'd just take that shit and chuck it into Lake Michigan. But that's the chance you're taking here. If you lay that kind of juice on Godinez, you have to really hope that she shows good fight IQ. And anybody that's been betting on Loopy's fights for a long period of time knows that she doesn't make the best in-fight decisions. She will make it difficult on herself. She will not wrestle in cases where she definitely should be wrestling. So I do have to pick Godinez here, but if you're on that Pilastri side, I get it. Because if Loopy does fight dumb, Julia is going to look a lot better than plus 200 on that money line. So I'm still picking Loopy here by decision, but I think that there could be some value on that Pilastri side if Loopy fights dumb, and she's done that before. Next fight, really, this is a fantastic fight, and so was Pilastri Godinez. That's a high-level women's strawweight fight, and now we get a high-level men's featherweight fight here in Melky Costa versus Christian Rodriguez. I believe that these guys are extremely well matched. I think they're both very good strikers. I think they're both very good grapplers. I think they're both very comfortable in the cage. Melky Costa is going to be much bigger here. He's 3 inches taller than Christian Rodriguez. Melky's got a lot more professional experience than Christian Rodriguez does. And I believe that the kicks and the distance management at distance striking range is going to favor Melky. Now, Christian Rodriguez has phenomenal cardio, and Christian doesn't really have any weak spots in his MMA skill set. This guy has got excellent striking, excellent conditioning, very good durability. He's very comfortable in the cage, solid level of competition that he's fought up to this level, not just in the UFC, but outside of it. So I see these guys as being very well matched, but the differences that I am seeing where I do see advantages is, number one, size. I mean, like, obviously Melky Costa is just going to be much bigger here. Number two is experience. Melky Costa has twice as much professional experience compared to Christian Rodriguez. He's been very active as of late. And when people are finding things that they don't like about Costa, they're always talking about fights that happened up at 155 pounds. And I would just, anybody that's talking about, oh, I don't like his cardio, well, you fight Steve Garcia and see how quick you gas out. You go and fight Thiago Moises on less than a week's notice, making your UFC debut. And he arguably went out there and won the first round against Thiago. So I think that Costa is being very underrated here. And I think people are looking past the fact that there's going to be a big size and experience advantage between these two guys. So while I'm flipping a coin here, I think both of these guys have a 50% chance to win this fight. This is clearly dog or pass, with Melky Costa having a plus 140 number next to his name. So I'm picking Melky Costa to win this one by decision. I like that Costa money line. I played it at plus 140. I played it plus 140. And I also like Costa by decision at plus 310 this week. Next fight is the people's main event. Ateba Gautier going up against the Bolivian Homer Simpson, Jose Medina. This is going to be so much fun because we know that Gautier, the only loss that he has on his career, he literally got Homer Simpsoned by the Welsh Homer Simpson, Glenn Williams. So the Welsh Homer Simpson, Glenn Williams, goes out there and gets his ass shaved by Gautier in round one, and but he doesn't get finished. And then Gautier has nothing left in rounds 2 and 3, and then he loses those 2 rounds on the judges' scorecards and winds up losing a split decision. So we know that the Bolivian Homer Simpson, is greater than or equal to the Welsh Homer Simpson here. So I think that this is going to be really fun to watch, because if this fight gets out of the first round and Gautier looks tired, I'm telling you it's going to get interesting, right? But the thing is that Medina's a heavy bag. This guy has got no defense at all. And this guy Gautier, he's just a scary, scary looking human being. Now Gautier is very raw, very young. He's not even 23 years old yet. He's fought a very low level of competition, and but he is blessed with real power. So I feel like the most responsible pick for this fight is Gautier KO1. And I know that Medina's extremely durable, but you got to, there's getting hit hard, and then there's getting hit hard. And this guy Gautier, I mean, honestly, looks like he's AI. Honestly, like he might not even exist. It looks like AI created somebody. If you told AI to, like, hey, let's make a man and make it look like he was carved out of bronze, it would be this dude, and when you see this guy hit people and you just see them melt, with him being Cameroonian, a lot of people are comparing Gautier's power at middleweight to Ngannou's power at heavyweight. So this is going to be a very interesting fight, because if Gautier doesn't get him out of there in the first round, let's remember, Gautier from Cameroon, training in London at Manchester Top Team, and now he's fighting in his UFC debut at 7,000 feet elevation in front of an unfriendly crowd in Mexico City, a place obviously he's never been before. So this is going to be, while I like Gautier to win and win in round 1 in violent fashion, this is not the kind of guy that you're out there laying minus 400 on or whatever it is. We saw him at minus 425 earlier this week. I'm not sure where he is right now, but this is going to be a really fun fight to watch. But I think that if Gautier cracks this dude once, he's just going to swarm and the ref's going to step in. So as long as it's not a death dealer like Kerry Hatley or Jason Herzog in the cage with these guys, if it was a respectable referee that cares about fighter safety, say Gary Copeland, right? That this fight's going to get stopped if Gautier lands a big shot, I think. So Gautier KO1, can't wait for this fight. And I think that Gautier round 1 at plus 265 on Bet Rivers. That's a bet that's getting the Uncle Weezy, bam, stamp of approval. And let's go on to the next fight, which is going to be Edgar Chairez at minus 252 going up against CJ Vergara plus 212. We got a fight doesn't go to decision, sitting around minus 120 for this fight. I'm picking Chairez, and I'm picking him to win this fight by submission. Vergara is a pretty durable guy, but I think Puro Chicali is going to go out there and really make quick work of CJ Vergara. CJ is a guy that I just haven't been impressed with at the UFC level. I don't think that he offers a lot. First of all, there's absolutely zero offensive grappling threat on the CJ Vergara side. He has never even shot one takedown in 7 UFC fights. He's going to be at a massive size and length disadvantage in this fight. Edgar Chairez is listed at 5'7". There's no fucking way. He's like 5'9", 5'10" easily. So he's going to be way bigger than CJ here. He's the way harder hitter. He's got the way more opportunistic submission game. And he's just going to be the better striker overall. This guy's low leg kicks are phenomenal. This guy's punches come straight down the pipe. He flashes real power for the division. But this is at elevation. Chairez always has difficult weight cuts. And we saw CJ Vergara does too. I mean, he's missed weight 3 out of 7 fights thus far. But he was one of the first people to the scale today. So CJ looks ready to go. And he's going to have to really push a pace against Chairez to have a chance here, because I don't think that CJ wins the first round at more than a 10 or 15% clip. I think he'd have to get really lucky. So I think that Chairez is going to go out there and win this fight, probably win it inside the distance. But I don't see much of a path here for CJ Vergara. And I think the Chairez money line is good as a parlay piece this week. Next fight is going to be Ronaldo Lazy Boy Rodriguez, who had a really tough weight cut at minus 150 going up against the El Gallo Negro, Kevin Borjas at plus 130. Peru, stand up. Fight doesn't go to decision here, sitting at plus 110 for this fight. So I'm going with Lazy Boy by decision, but I'm a little bit worried about that pick right now because Borjas made weight, looked good. Lazy Boy did not make weight, and he did not look good. He looked like death warmed over on the scale, and it wasn't just that ass haircut. You know, it was like that he looked like he had a really bad weight cut. So I'm worried about Rodriguez here because Borjas has got decent takedown defense, and Ronaldo's not the best wrestler in the world. So I think if this fight stays on the feet, Ronaldo with his pressure is going to be walking onto a lot of strikes from Borjas. So, but I do favor Rodriguez's grappling. I think he's the much more opportunistic grappler, obviously. And I think that if he forces some wrestling here and can rehydrate and can still perform at a high level tomorrow night, that he's going to be able to find some minutes in these grappling exchanges. And I don't think he's going to be widely outworked at distance. So I'm picking Rodriguez to win a very close decision here, but I think that this fight's going to play out close. I definitely would not recommend betting on Ronaldo Rodriguez at juice. And my model really likes Kevin Borjas by decision here because Ronaldo Rodriguez is definitely more of a finisher. He's not great in decisions. So, but he's very durable. So I feel like Borjas at plus 130, it's interesting. But when I look at my betting model and I, let's see where we got it right here. And I see Kevin Borjas by decision at plus 250. That's something that's really interesting to me because, like I say, it's almost all of his win condition, but the 42.5% implied probability of his money line at plus 135 compared to the 28.5% implied probability of his decision prop at 250 feels like a pretty big discount for a guy with very dependable durability in Ronaldo Rodriguez. So yeah, Borjas's money line is interesting. Borjas by decision at plus 250, I think is very interesting, especially now that we saw Ronaldo look really bad on the scales today. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It's going to be Martinez versus Oliveira. So Martinez was minus 360 earlier in the week. I think he's approaching minus 500 now. I'm picking Martinez decision, but this is a fight that, like, I feel pretty confident that David Martinez is going to win this fight. Now, I still think that he's going to have to prove at this level, at the UFC level, that he can stuff takedowns, that he can use his footwork and his karate-style striking to kind of maintain range and limit the offensive wrestling of his opponents. But Simon Oliveira is, first of all, he's not a very good wrestler. You know, second of all, he's on a 2+ year layoff. And then Brady was telling me that he had heard that Simon almost died, that this guy almost died, and that's why he's been away from the cage for over 2 years at this point, at the age of 33. He looked not great on the scales. He definitely looked like he was a little bit drained, like it was a rough weight cut for him. And David Martinez is making his UFC debut, though, so you don't want to be laying that kind of juice on a debutant who's a little bit one-dimensional. I mean, it's not like David's going to be able to go out there and out-grapple this dude. If he did, I'd be very surprised. But I think this is a Martinez decision, but I'm wondering if Simon Oliveira has anything left in the tank. 2-year layoff, serious like kind of injury or health issues in his time away from the cage. And now, you know, here he is pushing 34 years old, not really knowing, you know, what's left in the tank, what the motivation is at this point. I didn't even know he was still on the roster. I was really kind of surprised to see that his name there. I was like, holy shit, Simon Oliveira. It's been a minute since I watched him pull 14 guillotines in the Tony Gravely fight. So yeah, I like Martinez. I like Martinez decision here, and I would bet Martinez decision if I was confident that Simon Oliveira was coming in 100% and committed, because Simon has historically been a very durable guy, but I didn't like what I saw on the scale today. And obviously the 2-year layoff tells me a lot about, maybe this guy's durability might be compromised going forward. So if my choice is laying minus 500 on Martinez or passing, it's going to be a pass, you guys. But yeah, Martinez decision is the pick. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get a finish. Next fight, Raul Rosas Jr. at minus 450 versus Morales plus 350. Fight doesn't go here, sitting at plus 120 for this fight. So I'm picking Rosas, and I'm picking submission, but I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of Raul. I think that he's kind of a specialist. I'm waiting to see if his striking, can win some minutes at this level, if he can ever get to the point where Raul can go out there and win a round with his striking. Because, last time out, to see him go out there in the second round against Aori Kwai Lang and not shoot any takedowns and just be all right with taking the round off, that was weird, because this guy pulled out of his elevation fight in Mexico City on fight night about 15 minutes before he was supposed to step in the cage against Ricky Tercios. This guy said, no, thanks, not fighting tonight. And Raul fights with a fucking frantic pace. So I'm worried in Mexico City, the way that this guy fights against a very durable guy with a ton of experience in Vince Morales, that if he doesn't get him out of there early, that it could get really greasy if you're laying a bunch of juice on this kid, Rosas. I still feel like I've got a lot more to learn about him, and I'm going to be staying away from betting this fight because I don't really want to back Vince Morales even at these prices. I backed him against Elijah Smith, and, if you're not decisively out-grappling Elijah Smith, who's really only been in mixed martial arts for about 3 years and has got some high school wrestling, if you're not, decisively outstriking and out-grappling a fighter of that quality, I think that Raul is going to be able to find enough success in the grappling exchanges of this fight to win the fight. And if he does do what he does best, which is get takedowns and then advance to dominant positions, I think he will be able to find a submission against Vince Morales here. So I'm going with Rosas submission too, but I'm not betting him. I'm not laying any kind of juice. I'm not even playing the submission prop at plus 250. I want to see how he handles this test at elevation. The elevation really bothers me for Rosas. Like I say, when I see somebody go all out, balls to the wall from second one in every fight, which is what I do see Raul Rosas doing, and I still don't think that he's that great, I worry about him slowing down in the second half of this fight. And Vince Morales has got a cheeky submission game of his own. Maybe fight doesn't go to decision here. I think maybe that's the way to go, but could be an interesting fight. But Rosas submission too is what I'm going with. Next fight is going to be Joe Bodybags Pyfer at minus 305 going up against Kelvin Gastelum plus 245. Fight doesn't go to decision, sitting at minus 130 for this fight. I like that they gave Fat Gastelum Pyfer here after he showed up fat for his last fight. Scheduled to fight at 170 against the aging Daniel Rodriguez, and he literally shows up on fight week and says that he cannot make 170. He can't make 175. I mean, the contracted weight for this fight was 170. And this fat fuck shows up and says, it's got to be at middleweight, literally 15 pounds over a contracted weight. This guy's a professional. He's in his 30s. He's had over 20 UFC fights, and he shows up 15 pounds fat for a fight. I don't give a shit what Kelvin Gastelum has done in the past. I just don't fucking care. When I see somebody show up 15 pounds fat and call themselves a professional, I laugh and I say that this guy is checked the fuck out. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Because, the last two wins on Gastelum's career are against welterweights. It's a welterweight and Daniel Rodriguez. Rodriguez was planning on that fight happening at 170. It happened at 185. Gastelum beats him, but I don't care. Rodriguez is mid-30s. He's one-dimensional at this point, so not a big win. He wins via eye poke over Chris Curtis, who's another welterweight. And then the last middleweight win before that was against Ian Heinisch, who Ian Heinisch wound up retiring one fight later. So this guy is not a middleweight. I look at him as like, like he's kind of like Kevin Holland, like that Kelvin is serious and taking things seriously as a professional if he's trying to make 170 and doing that. But he's fighting up at middleweight now, and instead of giving him welterweights who are actually middleweights, now they're giving him a middleweight that can punch holes through cement. I don't think that this is going to go well at all for Kelvin. I think he's outmatched in the striking. I think he's outmatched in the grappling. And I think that Joe, Joe would probably rather cut off his leg than lose a fight. While, Kelvin Gastelum probably wouldn't even pass on the extra piece of chicken, on fight week if it meant that he was going to miss weight, because he doesn't fucking care. So I think Joe Pyfer is going to fucking end this dude somehow violently within the distance here. Very historically difficult guy to knock out in Kelvin Gastelum. But yeah, I don't think he takes his career seriously anymore, and I know that Joe does. So I think Joe and Joe's a very gifted finisher, and he hits ridiculously hard. So yeah, I'm looking for Pyfer. I'm looking for him to get a finish here, and I think the most likely path is that he drops Kelvin and then jumps on a submission of some kind and taps him out. Next fight. One of the best fights of the night is going to be Manuel Loco Torres at plus 100 going up against Drew Dober at minus 120. I got Dober winning by knockout here. I've got a 2-unit bet on Drew Dober at plus 105 on the money line. I think Drew is probably better everywhere than this guy, other than size, length, and youth. Drew's got crazy power, excellent kickboxing. The much, much, much better strength of schedule, and the much more dependable durability, if we're being real. This guy's had been one of the most durable fighters in the division. Manny Torres hits crazy hard, though. So this is going to be a really fun fight. But yeah, Dober, knockout round 2. I think Manny's fighting on very, very thin margins here. I think he needs an early finish in round 1 against one of the most durable guys in the organization. And I think that if he doesn't get it, he's going to be very tired in round 2. While Drew Dober is always trained at elevation, he's got a lot more experience. And Drew Dober will win fights in round 2 and round 3 with his pressure, with his striking. He will break you. So I really like Dober in this spot. This is one of those weird ones, man. I don't see anybody on Manny Torres this week, yet the line keeps hovering around even. So I'm beginning to start to think that maybe I'm missing something here in terms of some inside information, but I don't understand why Manny Torres is almost a favorite against Drew Dober here. I feel like this should be Dober minus 200, and everybody that I respect out there is on Dober. So I don't know. I feel like we're all going to be on this island, and that island is going to sink, and we're going to be like, how do we not see Torres winning this fight? But it's just, there's something odd about this, but I still think that Dober is going to get this done and get it done violently. Second round KO, and I've got 2 units on his money line here. Main event of the evening, Brandon Moreno minus 240, Steve Erceg plus 205. Fight doesn't go to decision at plus 175. Yeah, I still think Erceg has a lot to prove here, and Moreno at elevation over 5 rounds. Good defensively, good boxing, good wrestling, really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I think, the strength of schedule advantage, the 5-round experience, the good overhand right that Moreno has, the excellent durability, and the hometown crowd backing him over an Australian. This is a long trip for Erceg. Going from Perth, Western Australia to Mexico City, that's not a great flight. And then to have to fight in front of the unfriendly crowd. They're going to be cheering every time Brandon lands something. They're going to be silent every time Steve lands something. The judges are going to be biased by that. And I do think that Brandon probably gets the job done here by decision. He's just got a few more tools and a lot more high-level experience to lean on here. And Erceg's coming off of a KO loss too. So, I think that this fight does go to decision, but, I also think that maybe we might see Moreno really kind of put on a masterclass performance here potentially. But this line is too wide for me at minus 240. And because Brandon Moreno is such a durable guy, getting Steve Erceg by decision at close to plus 300 feels like a play that's plus EV because I see this fight. I mean, like if Erceg wins, I'd be shocked if he finished Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno is one of the most durable guys in the division, and he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So I don't really see him, because he's got so much 5-round experience, like gassing out. I don't see him getting submitted. I don't see anybody in the division knocking him out. So Erceg by decision at plus 300, I think is a cheeky play this week. Might be worth a half unit sprinkle just because I think this fight does go to full 5 rounds. And I think Steve Erceg, being taller, being longer, solid striker, very physical, he could potentially get some takedowns here and win some minutes and keep it close. So it's probably dog or pass on the money line for me, but I would be very confident not playing the Erceg money line and just playing the Erceg decision prop because I'm that confident in Brandon Moreno's durability. So Erceg by decision at plus 285 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. I think that's a good look this week. But the official pick is at home, 5-round fight, better strength of schedule. I think he could probably land the bigger shots at distance. I really like the check left hook and overhand right of Brandon Moreno. They're very accurate. So, yeah, Brandon Moreno by decision is the official pick, which leaves us with 2 orders of business, you guys. We've got first the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week, and it's going to be an easy one this week because we're only picking 2 underdogs. We're picking Melk Costa by decision over Christian Rodriguez, and we're picking Austin Hubbard by decision over Markel Medeiros. And because Christian is such a good fighter, and I think that Markel's still got a lot to prove at this level, I'm gonna count on the fact that Austin Hubbard's a VFS guy, and I know that Valley Flow Striking is one of the hottest camps right now. That Hubbard knew about this fight before Medeiros does, because Hubbard was scheduled to fight Daniel Zellhuber. That I think that Hubbard's conditioning is probably going to hold up a little bit better at elevation. And I think that Hubbard's the better wrestler with the better strength of schedule. So Hubbard by decision is the pick. And Austin Hubbard and his money line is going to be your Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week. The official dog pick this week is going to be the Austin Hubbard money line, which brings us to the last order of business here on the full card breakdown, and that is going to be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. We're looking for someone to win and win violently, and I got Emmers winning by first round knockout. I've got Gautier winning by first round knockout. I've got Chirez winning by first round submission. I've got Rosas Jr. milking Vince Morales and winning by second round submission there. I've got Joe Bodybags Pfeiffer shaving the ass of Gastelum by second round submission. And I've got Drew Dober here by KO in round 2 over Manny Torres. So a lot of really good choices here for the ass shaving of the week. But because I have a bet on Drew Dober, and because Drew Dober almost always wins via ass shaving, and because Manny Torres has been finished in all of his losses, and because Manny Torres, I feel like, has a very narrow band in terms of his win condition on the spectrum of possible outcomes for this fight, I'm going to have Drew Dober be Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, because not only do I think he wins and wins violently, I also think the line is way off in this spot. And because of that, we're getting a very good price on Drew Dober. We can wager a lot less to win a lot more than compared to guys like Gautier minus 450, Rosas minus 400, David Martinez minus 450, a lot. Emmers is minus 400. These guys are all too expensive. So your Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week is going to be Drew Dober to shave the ass of Manny Torres. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to, because I already had all the legs up here, I don't want you to see them. So now I'm going to take you through a Greasy 4-leg parlay here on DraftKings.com, but it is going to come out much better on BetOnline.com. But here is your Greasy 4-leg parlay for this week. Leg number 1 is going to be the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week. It is going to be the Austin Hubbard money line, which is currently available at plus 130 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Yeah, I like Austin here. I like him a lot. And I was, I almost got him at plus 160, but I was actually thinking that more money might come in on Medeiros, and I was wrong. People saw the same things that I was seeing in terms of Hubbard probably winning this fight, and we've seen the Hubbard line take a little bit of steam here. So, it might get to the point where Vegas needs Medeiros, and Medeiros wins the close split decision if it winds up being a close fight. But I like what Austin's bringing to the table here. More experience, better strength of schedule, better wrestling, more reliable cardio. And I think the pressure that he brings at distance striking range is going to really limit the offensive opportunities of Markel Medeiros. So your Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week, Austin Hubbard's money line at plus 130 is going to guarantee us that this greasy 4-leg parlay this week is going to have some meat on the bone. Leg number 2 is going to be the Edgar Chairez money line. I don't think CJ Vergara is that good. I don't think he brings a lot to the table in terms of danger. And I think that Edgar is going to outbox him at range. And if it gets in close, I think he's going to get a hold of the neck and really give CJ some problems on the mat. So Edgar Chairez's money line is going to be leg number 2, available at minus 265 right now on DraftKings Sportsbook. That brings our 2-leg parlay up to plus 216. Leg number 3 is going to be the Body Bags Pifer money line at minus 298. I mean, I don't know how Kelvin really wins this fight. I know that there's a lot of money coming in on Kelvin right now. I don't understand it. I don't understand how people think this guy's going to actually beat a middleweight that's got real power right now. I think he's outmatched in the grappling. He's certainly outmatched in the power. And we're going to see if Pifer, if Kelvin really, at 185 pounds at his age, with all the miles that he has on the engine, the fact that he doesn't even bother to try to cut weight, just a lazy guy right now, I think, that's kind of thrown his career away. And I think Joe Pifer is the kind of guy who can maybe show him the door, you guys, because I don't think he wants this anymore. And now that he's fighting guys at 185 instead of just blown up 170ers, I think we're going to see the kind of power necessary to maybe give Gastelum his first KO loss of his career. So I like Pifer. I like it a lot here. A lot of people are pointing out the Hermansson fight as a reason that Pifer might lose minutes to Gastelum. That was a 5-round fight, you guys. Joe Pifer won the first 2 rounds. And, obviously when you're fighting somebody like Hermansson, who's a very good grappler, who's got he's some of the best ground and pound in the entire division, really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And you look at how, that fight was very close. I mean, people weren't sure that Hermansson won the Pifer fight before the scorecards got read. When Hermansson fought Gastelum, it was over in 1 minute. Hermansson dropped, went for a heel hook, and it was fucking over. So, yeah, I think if he fights a real middleweight here, and Joe Pifer is a real middleweight, that we're going to see violence. I think Joe Pifer is going to make this look pretty easy. That brings the 3-leg parlay up to plus 327. Leg number 4. Who else would it be besides Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week? Drew Dober money line at minus 112 brings this parlay up to plus 710 on DraftKings Sportsbook. But if we go over here to Bet Online Sportsbook, Joe Pifer's minus 280, Drew Dober's minus 105, Austin Hubbard is plus 136, and Chairez is minus 265. So this parlay actually comes out to plus 761 on Bet Online Sportsbook. So I think we're going to cash this thing. And I think the last one that we cashed was when I had the ass shaving of the week, the dog pick of the week, and 2 other money lines that I liked. And this is a 4-leg money line play. And I want to do more of this, where I just give you 4 money lines, because my money line picks are phenomenal. I mean, like, I'm making a lot of money on my just straight money line picks. My picks in terms of just accuracy percentage are some of the best in the business. So I think this is a methodology that's going to cash us more of these greasy 4-leg parlays, is if we can get as many money lines in there as possible. And we'll be getting better prices if we're using just money lines on a book like bet online that has such a small amount of vig in their money line props. So this is opening the door to one that I think has got an excellent chance of cashing. I think if Austin Hubbard wins the first fight of the night, you guys, we're going to be looking very good here. And we can potentially, hedge out if Joe Pyfer wins on that co-main event. You can just put a little money on Manny Torres to lock in the win. But I like this spot quite a bit. So yeah, there we go. Plus 761 on Bet Online Sportsbook. And like I said, you guys, if you really want to support the work here, the best way to do it is to click that link in the description of the video. 20% off your first month's membership over at Odds Shopper. You're going to get access to all my over-under betting models, my prop betting models, my individual fighter stats, my matchup fighter stats, all the fight write-ups, access to the Discord, access to the track bets, access to shows like Balls Deep breakdowns and probability every single week. You get to see me here for free on Stat Diggers every Sunday, on Just a Tip with the Greasy four-legger here every Friday. But if you want my picks earlier so that you can act on it earlier, and you want to get access to all my fight write-ups and betting models and stats, that's the best way to do it. Click that link in the description of the video there. Use code NEW20 at checkout, $25 a month. You'll get your first month for only $20, and it's going to give you access to all the information that you need in order to make better gambling decisions on the long term so that you can be a plus EV gambler when you're betting on the UFC. So thank you guys for watching. What is happening with all of you in the chat here? Who's going to support their Uncle Weezy? Who's going to give their Uncle Weezy money? That's what I want to know. I want to know by the time that this is all over with, I'm going to look at my Odds Shopper window and I want to see how many people have signed up, because, maybe if I can get a certain amount of signups today, maybe I'll go live for free tonight and do an Ask Weezy so that we can come up with some underdog plays, some prize picks plays. I can answer any questions that you have about particular fights using my fight write-ups, using my betting models, using my statistics. You got questions about prize picks and underdog and all that shit. I got the stats for every single fighter on the card. I've got their prize pick stats. I've got their underdog stats. I've got their FanDuel stats. I got their DraftKings stats. I've got it all. And if you give your Uncle Weezy money, like this sign is going to tell you to do, bam, give your Uncle Weezy money now. And if you do that, it's going to give you money back. It's not like I'm fucking begging you pricks either, I'm not begging you. I'm giving you something for it. So my guy Fromage Frog in here saying, let's go. What is up, Fromage? We got Helder Sturari in the room saying, oi. And he's saying, Weezy, my man, salute from Brazil. As always, I'd love it if our currency wasn't so devalued against the dollar so I could subscribe to your services, but it would be too expensive for me. Anyway, I wish you success. And you guys in the chat room, give this smart man some money. Helder knows what he's talking about. Give this man some money. Click on that link. Give me some money, and I'll give you money back with the awesome picks and all the research that I do every week for my Odds Shopper people. Eros in the room saying that Greasy four-leg with some fries and a soda on the side. Let's get it, man. The High Owl saying, oi. And he's saying, you give me money now. You give me money now. The High Owl knows what's up, you guys. Dixon saying, holy crap, Prophet Weezy. Somebody just flipped the car upside down after they crashed across the street from me. There's cops, ambulances, tow trucks, the whole 9 yards. It's like a movie scene, bro. Yeah, dude, if you're driving your car fast and reckless enough to flip it, that's crazy shit, man. I hope everybody's all right over there. We got Olajuwon Dream in the room saying, oi. We got the great Gary Copeland in the room saying, oi. What's up, Gary Copeland? We got AF Gun Lion saying, when watching back Pfeiffer's loss to Hermanson, it's clear that his cardio failed him. This fight with Kelvin is at elevation. What if he gasses again against the heavy-handed Gastelum? It's definitely a possibility. But, I mean, if you think that Gastelum is training harder than Joe Pyfer right now and that Gastelum is going to be the one pushing the pace here, okay. This guy showed up 15 pounds fat for his last fight. So, yeah, I'm not expecting much out of Gastelum. If this guy all of a sudden gives a fuck about MMA, and goes out there and beats Pfeiffer, I will be absolutely shocked. But, I feel like I found out everything I needed to know about Kelvin Gastelum in his last fight, man. This guy hasn't beaten a real middleweight in a very, very long time. His last finish, I think, was 2017 against a guy with one eye. And I think his last knockdown was in 2018 against a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. So yeah, I'm not worried about it. What are the chances Dober makes this fight boring and goes for takedowns instead of brawling like he usually does? I don't know, man. Dober will mix in some wrestling. The guy's gotten takedowns. He's a well-rounded fighter. And he might want to he might want to do that. He might want to wrestle in round one against Torres if he feels like he can get Torres tired. And then in the second round, then he comes out and kickboxing. Manny's maybe a little bit slow and a little bit slow to react and gets knocked out or something. So, I mean, it's MMA, AF Gunline. I mean, anything can happen, dude. We just kind of try to get a read on a fight and find underpriced bets that agree with that read. Otherwise, we can just stay away from it. Like, I was going to put the under 1.5 rounds in here, but I'm becoming very over-under phobic because, like, it just feels like it's harder to get an idea of what's in the fighter's head. I mean, like, the fighters really, they're worried about winning, that which makes picking fights, in terms of just who's going to win the fight, that both fighters want to win, so it's like you just try to find, ways to victory for both fighters, and you'll be able to predict that at a better rate than whether they're going to win in the first 7.5 minutes or the second 7.5 minutes. Or, if they are going to get a finish, are they going to get it in the first round, second round, third round? How does it work? So I'm making less of those bets and saying that Emmers is the much better fighter, but he sometimes finds a way to lose for sure. Could Moreno? Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah, I mean, like, Jamal Emmers fucking up a cup of coffee is absolutely on the table. I mean, he did it against Sabatini. He did it against Giga Chikadze. He's definitely got bad fight IQ. So yeah, it could happen. We got Sam in the room saying, "Oi, what's up, boys? What's up, Sam? Good to see you hanging out in here." We got Gary saying they won't let me into Mexico because of my terrible reffing, so I'll be enjoying this card from home. Well, I mean, like I say, man, you are very concerned with fighter safety, Gary, and not every ref is like that. So you're just doing things a little bit different. You're the anti Vyacheslav Kisiev. So same as before, Martinez is better, but the best bet not to go the distance. I don't know, man. I don't know what's in Simon Oliveira's heart right now. I would think maybe it finishes inside the distance, but I have no desire to bet an over-under on that fight. How much more difficult does the altitude make it to predict these fights? It makes it a lot more difficult. It's definitely a factor that I'm considering in every single fight. Musasa vibes. Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Yeah, he's still very young and very raw. So, I mean, I agree that he's giving you Musasa vibes. That's fine with me. B-Neg saying, if a fighter went to Mexico to acclimate to the altitude, it makes a big difference. And I can tell you Rosas has been there 2 months to acclimate while Vince showed up this week. Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. Yeah. Mushroom is in the room saying, "Oh, yes, what's up, Punk? Sneak watching at work. Here to support." What's up, Mushroom? Good to see you hanging out in here, dude. We got Matthew Jacuzian in the room saying, "What up, Punk? I saw Wonder Boy live on AGC. He might be fighting MVP, and he hinted it could be a retirement fight. Even at 42 years old, Wonder Boy versus MVP sounds like a fun matchup." That does sound like a great matchup. I love that a lot, man. That should be a good one. Jacob Cole saying, "I like Medina a lot. I think he's a fun fighter to watch." 4-ounce sniper in the room saying, "Oi." We got Grateful Dude saying, "Oi." We got Milkman saying, "Oi, time to milk some money out of this card. Let's get it, dude." We got Juicy saying, "Hell yeah, let's knock down some long shots like Giddy at the buzzer. Let's go." We got Paul Vivrit saying, "Uncle Weezy, tell me you're on Loopy this week, brother." I am on Loopy by decision. I haven't bet it, but I think she's going to win this fight by decision. We got Green Bat saying, "Sometimes I eat popcorn standing up. Other times I don't." There you go. What's up? We got Grayer Davis saying, "P. Giddy." We got Mr. Wipeout saying I'd sooner staple my nuts to the kitchen counter before I bet Lupe Godinez again. Yeah, I think you and DFS by the numbers are sharing that sentiment. Forrest saying, what's up, Uncle Weezy? My milking of the week is Lupe Godinez. She's going to be on all fours, getting milked for 3 rounds. Wow. Okay. All right, man. That's bold because Pilastri is a big underdog here. Exclusive Oro saying, oh, I got a lot more people waiting in the chat for you now, Weezy. Champ status. What's up, Exclusive? Good to see you hanging out in here, dude. We got Action Jackson saying, ahoy, hoy. What is up, Action Jackson? Eddie saying, can't place any bets until Uncle Weezy drops his picks. Well, you got them all now, my man. We got Desi saying, Weezy, when are you releasing your track bets on the Patreon? It'll be shortly. I'm gonna make 1 or 2 more bets, and they'll be posted there by tonight. Muhammad, I'm odd. Bruce Lee saying, oi, saying yes. What is up, dude? We got Forrest saying Uncle Weezy was late doing the cashing heavy checks at the bank. So you're so money, Uncle Weezy. Appreciate you, dude. We got Snap It saying, oi. We got Jacob saying he's late because he was clapping ass cheeks. Oh, no, just taking care of some business over here, man. We got Give Uncle Weezy money now saying Bruce Lee. What's up, dude? We got Zach saying, thanks for what you do, Unc. Appreciate you, Zach. Tristan saying, Melky Costa, let's go. Hell yeah, man. We got Muhammad saying, I have a cheeky boxing bet I can give to the people. Masamichi Yukubi money line around minus 125. He fights in a few hours. He's shaving Angel Ayala's ass. All right. So there it is, you guys, from my guy Muhammad, who knows his shit, saying that Masamichi Yakubi money line at minus 125 is going to cash you a good unit if you put 1.25 units on. So check out. We got MMA Husky Hustler saying, Aru, saying, which translates from husky to human. Weezy, I hope you cash bet tickets like flapjacks this weekend. And Raul Rosas Jr. gives an insight barking this weekend. Let's go, MMA Husky Hustler. We got Jacob saying that he's on Hubbard as well. We got Hubbard by Grape, says Loco. We got VB MMA pick saying, thoughts on Rafa sub at plus 600. So Rafa does have a very good submission game. Let me look at what my model says just about the numbers of that bet, VB. So at 600, it really likes the bet in terms of the price of the bet. The benchmark adjusted for win percentage is 15.66%, and we're only paying 14.3%. 1 of 4 Garcia wins comes by submission at the UFC level. 1 of 3 losses for Pichel comes by submission at the UFC level. My model is saying this should be priced around 24%, but it's only priced at 14%. So plus 600 for Rafa Garcia by submission in a fight where I do see him wrestling. And he does have 8 of his 13 pro wins by submission. It's an underpriced plus EV bet, according to my model, that I would say matches up with the stylistic read that Rafa is going to wrestle here. I think he is going to try to wrestle Vince and try to put a pace on him and maybe try to wear him out. So I think it's a possibility. It's not something that I would bet, but at the same time, I mean, I'll just show you real quick here, VB. You can see it like right there and right there. You know, there's a lot of green in that sub line, and it's indicating that my model says it's underpriced. So I definitely like that at plus 600. The model says nice cheap bet plus EV. Let's see if Rafa can get that sub. And we got VB saying what's up. We got Muhammad saying what's up to VB. We got M-Tess in the room. What up, Big Weez? Chi-Town, what up? What up, M-Tess? Good to see you hanging out in here, dude. Another Chi-Town person. And here's another Chi-Town person. My guy, the bookie man, saying Hubbard by round 3 submission. He's looking for the arm triangle from top position. I love it, man. I love it. That would be a big hit. What is Austin Hubbard by round 3 submission on Bet Rivers? Let's see if the bookie man can find us like a plus 5,000 or something like that. What do we got? Submission round 3 plus 5,000, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe 1/10 of a unit to win 5. who's feeling frisky out there, man? It's a big plus money bet, and man, that would be something if it hit. That would be something. We got BB saying what's up. We got Sultan saying just the tip, Unc, slowly, always nice and slow. Justin Cash saying Loopy is gonna lose. We got Muhammad saying I have a ton of Loopy at minus 150, but I got it to ARB. Would have gone a whole lot bigger without market limits. Yeah, minus 150 was a very good price. It's Guzzy saying Costa C-Rod over 2.5 is super safe. I don't mind that at all, actually. Ben Braden saying, fuck, was hoping Weezy would be on the C-Ride side to give me confidence. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I really do, Ben. I think that these guys are very well matched, and I think that the one thing that a lot of cappers are leaving out of their analysis is the size difference between these two guys. Justin Cash, $2 donation. Ring a ding ding. You guys saying Costa by sub, in my opinion. That would be a big hit. He's plus 310 by decision, but his sub prop's a lot fatter than that. The bookie man saying, oh my God, yeah, I'm turning off my TV for the Loopy fight. She burned me worse than a Heavenly Bodies dancer. Heavenly Bodies. There's a strip club in Chicago, or in the Chicagoland area, called Heavenly Bodies. And when I used to listen to The Score, which was the one of the sports radio stations when I would drive around the city and shit, they would always have these Heavenly Bodies commercials, and they would talk about, come to Heavenly Bodies, but like there was always like this cheesy music in the background and this girl whispering over and over again, Heavenly Bodies, Heavenly Bodies. And it's just so stupid. So seeing the bookie man talk about a Heavenly Bodies dancer, it's such a Chicago reference. I had to bring that up. Jacob Cole with the C-Rod decision. B-Neg saying Loopy cannot be trusted, but she probably wins here. We got Ruthless Soda Pop in the room saying people forget Costa battered Lingo for 15 with a very high output and didn't really tire out. His grappling against the cage is also very good. He should be able to manage space and kick C-Rod for 15 minutes. Yeah, and like people are talking about like Costa's got bad conditioning. Against who? When he fought less than 1 week's notice up at 155 against Thiago Moises, when he got knocked out in the second round against Steve Garcia after winning the first round. I mean, like, guys, Steve Garcia is one of the hardest hitters in the lightweight division. This is C-Rod, a blown-up bantamweight, who's fighting now at featherweight. Not because he wants to. I mean, I know he's telling everybody, this is my home now. It's your home now because you missed weight 3 times in 4 fucking fights. That's why it's your home now. You don't belong here. And guys like Mel Costa, who's going to be much bigger than him, it's going to be problems for him. Weezy, please tell everyone to keep betting Pilastri. I want to get a better number on Loopy later tonight. You might, man. I mean, like we're right now. I'm seeing oh, that's the wrong. I'm seeing Loopy at minus 230. So maybe you get her at closer to minus 200 tomorrow. We'll see. Jacob Cole likes the Medina third round finish. I think you can get like plus 2,800 on Medina round 3. Medina sub plus 1,800. Good value. Tired people tap. Yes, that is true. The Bills Mafia in the room saying the weigh-ins were very telling for this card, in my opinion. Yeah, the Lazy Boy didn't look great. CJ did look good. Actually, Chirez made weight, and actually, I thought he actually looked pretty good on the scales. I didn't like what I saw from Simon Oliveira. Gautier is frankly not very good. I'm warning, it's very likely Medina wins. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but Medina is terrible. Medina is absolutely, that guy is a fucking heavy bag. He is a heavy, heavy, heavy bag. So I don't even know if he's going to get him out of there, even if he gets tired. But yeah, Gautier at least has, the hardware. He's got the natural athletic gifts. KY Quackenbush saying, wow, Costa money line against C-Rod is about as brain dead of a take as you can get, even after your breakdown. Maybe you prove me wrong. If not, you're looking mad dumb. Quackenbush, let me show you something, player. Let me show you what I do every single fucking week, okay? where are we for the Christian Rodriguez fight? So this is what I do every week for every fight. So what, whatever it is that you think of my take, I'm putting in the fucking work. I probably work 50 times as hard as you do coming up with your MMA takes. I'm writing out 7 pages of trend analysis, of strength of schedule analysis, of distance striking analysis, of clinch and grappling analysis. I look at the strengths and weaknesses of both fighters. I write out a long conclusion. I watch hours of tape. I have statistics from every one of these guys' fights. So whenever I come up with a take, I can assure you, I researched the shit out of it, and I watched probably 2 hours of tape, and I probably wrote for about an hour all of the possible ways that this fight could take place and all of the possible factors that I took into consideration when I came to making my decision. So don't call my takes brain dead. I work harder than anybody out here right now coming up with these picks, and the proof is in the fucking pudding. Go look at UFC Predictions Tracker and look at who the #1 capper is ever since he started tracking these things. It's Uncle Weezy on the top of that board. So Costa might lose this fight, and Christian Rodriguez might look fucking great. But I can't help how these guys fight in the cage. But what I can help is doing the work necessary to come to the conclusions that make me the best capper in the game in terms of just pure percentage on picks and return on investment of those picks over the last 9 to 10 months, according to the UFC Predictions Tracker. So, yeah, man, maybe you might be right. You might get this one. You might actually be right, and I might be wrong. But my picks are fucking well thought out and well researched, nephew. Another guy that trains in sand behind a tire shop. Yeah. I think he trains in England, though. Did he move back? Did Gauthier, anybody know in the chat, did Gauthier move back to Africa? Is he in Cameroon? Because I know he was training at Manchester Top Team and fighting in the UK regional scene. So I don't know if he's back in Africa or not. Only way Medina wins is if Ateba gasses in 5 minutes. And it's happened before, though, Bills Mafia. So, I mean, like, that's why I think it's such a fun fight, because if this thing does get to round 2, shit could get fucking weird. And I think it's going to be a really fun fight, man. Beanegg saying, yeah, because Lupi's such a lock, Paul. Well, I mean, Lupi's the much better wrestler, you guys. That's the biggest difference between these two fighters is the wrestling. Bills Mafia saying dogs are barking this weekend, boys. I hope it's the ones that I bet on, Bills Mafia. Do people forget that C-Rod is a striker who turned counter grappler against wrestlers? He's finally fighting a striker, and C-Rod is best at striking. Yeah, C-Rod's got excellent striking. Love C-Rod striking, love the pressure, love the hands. But I think that Melky Costa is a phenomenal striker in his own right. And I think that both of these guys are very well-rounded fighters. So I'm interested to see how this one plays out. I think it's very 50-50. 1 unit on the Milk money line and 0.5 by decision. I don't mind that because C-Rod's very durable. I'd be really shocked if Melky found a finish here. So yeah, I think that's a good play. I don't see any of you in the members video live chats. Give Uncle Weezy some money. That's my guy, LaFlop James. You're goddamn right. Give him money. Quackenbush saying people forgot that Costa lost on the feet to Philly. Could have sworn that Costa finished Philly in the first round. Maybe I forgot that. But C-Rod is arguably better than Philly on the feet. I don't know, man. I mean, like, what 145ers is he outstriking? Erosa didn't even outstrike Erosa at range. And that's a 45er. Bashy's a blown-up 35er. And then all the other striking that you saw was Christian Rodriguez weighing in 5 pounds heavy for bantamweight fights. Size does matter here. Pilastri, Dober was a dog. Melky, Hubbard. I'm with you on Dober, Melky, and Hubbard. Pilastri, there's some value there, but I think she's going to get taken down. But if Lupi doesn't wrestle, the Pilastri fucking money line bettors are going to be very happy. Fade Lazy Boy says Bills Mafia. We got Paul saying Lupi is a lock. Pilastri has had 2 fights against unranked girls who were both cut. Dude, don't short that Josephine Knutson win. Josephine Knutson's the real deal. And she lost one of those fights. Lupi lost her last 2, but they were against high-level competition, and that's very true. I picked Loopy to win, but she cannot be trusted. It's women's MMA, could be a 29-28. Yeah. The bookie man saying the cut was bad for Lazy Boy. Yes, it was. Hashtag fade. Nothing in MMA is a lock. Exactly. Weezy, I've been waiting for this video all week. My man says INFUH. Good to see you hanging out in here. We got Muhammad saying Bills Mafia. It's kind of true, but you can get close and silly odds sometimes. When I saw John Jones land more total strikes than 42-year-old Stipe at minus 130, I dropped a hammer. Wow, that's quite a line, dude. And got banned shortly. I would have banned your ass too. I'd have been like, who? First of all, whoever opened that line at minus 130, you're fucking fired. And then who smashed that line? Oh, this guy? Ban his account. That's me if I'm the risk manager. Paul saying, I don't really buy the Loopy can't be trusted stuff. I think she's good, but I guess we'll see. Remora saying Oliveira had intestinal rupture from, oh my God, an intestinal rupture from a spinning kick to the stomach in sparring, apparently. So that's what, when I said that Brady said that he almost died, that's what caused it. So thanks, Remora, for giving us some clarity on that situation. So that's why we haven't seen Simon Oliveira in 2+ years. Very, very scary. The bookie man likes Raul Rosas Jr. by KO points. So that could be interesting. That could be interesting. Ground and pound definitely in play. Jacob saying, even if it's close, they'll give it to Raul. I could see that. Yeah. Vince Morales by decision, says Ruthless Soda Pop. Winning rounds 2 and 3. Could pull off a front choke, though. Yeah, if Rosas gets tired, I suppose that's a possibility. Rosas has been in Mexico for 2 months, getting acclimated to the altitude. Vince showed up this week, had a tough fight with Smith, and coming right back here. Yeah, quick turnaround for Vince, that's for sure. Rosas has been going to different gyms. People will talk about his improved striking, says the bookie man. We got Olajuwon Dream saying took a shot on KG at plus 300. We got Gastelum really can't put the pies down. That's how you know Muhammad is English, because they always talk about the pies when you're fat. Like, stop eating all the pies, because they got like the shepherd's pie and the cottage pies and all these delicious pies that aren't just fruit pies. And yeah, Gastelum loves the pies, but I think for Gastelum, it's more the tacos, the burritos, the chimichangas, the enchiladas. I think that's what it's happening. But that's definitely, the Southwest United States version of the British pies. I love it. I do think people are praying for the version of Keldon that Adesanya fought a bit stupidly. Yeah, like 5 years ago, right? A lot of these fights could go the distance rather than inside the distance due to both fighters gassing with the elevation. Yes. Good luck, Uncle Weezy. Hopefully it's another good night in the office. I hope it is, man. I hope it is. I hope the fighters make me look like a genius tomorrow. B-Neg saying it will be interesting to see if Pyfer gasses himself after round 1. I think it could happen. Yeah, I mean, this elevation really kind of makes things tricky. There's no question about it, man. Bill's saying that Muhammad has a point. Gas the bum is washed, and the UFC machine booked this fight as a stepping stone for Joey. He sleeps with the fishes on Saturday. Yeah, the bookie man and I are definitely on the same page. Viverett saying, I'm worried about how worried Weezy is about Chi-Wee-Wees. Yeah, I'm just, he's still fighting Vince Morales. I just think that, he's gonna get a lot of matchups coming down the pipe, like Christian Rodriguez, guys of that level. And the bantamweight division is full of killers. So if he doesn't start to learn how to win minutes on the feet, if he doesn't start to learn how to manage his energy output, and still is able to find that grappling success, it might be difficult for him to find wins as he starts to climb the ladder. So we're going to see. But Vince Morales is somebody that he should be able to get the win. Weezy definitely taking Torres watch. No, definitely not, man. Profit, what percentage of your confidence on Big Daddy Pyfer is based on his new hairline? I didn't even know that he had a new hairline. Somebody told me that he went to Turkey for the hairline surgery or whatever. I didn't even know that, man. If Vincent beats Rosas, it would have to be by sub. Yeah, maybe he could catch him in something. Vince does have some a cheeky front choke attack. Which of these guys have the biggest DraftKings DFS upside this week? I think it's some of those middle range fighters like Drew Dober who could get a finish. I think Kyrez has got some finish upside. I think Rosas could be a good play just because he's going to be grappling heavy. I think Jamal Emmers is going to get a finish, but you're going to have to pay up for that. I think Hubbard's a great play with some upside. I think he's going to have takedown upside. I think he's going to be pushing a pace. I think he's going to be scoring 4 or 5 DraftKings points a minute the way that he fights. So I like Hubbard this week. I think Steve Erceg at plus 215 underdog. I think he's a guy that's probably going to give you 5 rounds. So I think you can get Erceg and Hubbard in there as underdogs. You can go with Drew Dober as a mid-range option and then get 3 favorites that you like in there. B-Negs likes Pichel. It's Guzzy saying if Pichel decision is worth sprinkling like plus 600, Torres decision is a no-brainer at plus 1,300. I don't know, man. I mean, like, if that fight went the full 15 minutes, I would be shocked. And I'd be even more shocked if Torres, with his skill set, found a way to win 2 of those 3 rounds. I don't think so. We got Torres. I'm on Torres, says Jacob Cole. Okay. And Blaze Hayes every day. Look at that picture of Joe Pesci. I love that. Damn, Unc, 2 units. Okay, yeah, I got 2 units on the Drew Dober money line at plus 105. And Olajuwon's taking a shot on Steve at plus 200. The bookie man saying I'm on the fight doesn't start round 5 on the main event. Okay, he likes violence. I kind of like that one to go the distance, but it's at elevation. So I don't think I have any track bets this week on over unders. Moreno to shave ass here, says AJ. Dober is old and Torres is a killer. I like Torres. He's a fun fighter to watch. Why should they send Steve to Mexico? I don't know. I mean, like that's just that was the, he's already had to go to Brazil and now to Mexico. Yeah, Erceg decision might be the better play. I like that play, man. I think it's going to have some value at almost plus 300. Olajuwon, if you take the shot on Steve, plus 200, not just to start round 5. That way you have both sides that would just need someone to die. Yep. Viverett saying once Moreno starts feeling it and he starts doing that little smile thing on one side of his mouth, you're in trouble. I'm seeing Moreno finish only around minus 300. Wow, that's wide. I think that's wide. But, I mean, like, still, Moreno's so durable. Safety Parlay says it's Guzzy is Moreno, Rosas, Costa C-Rod over 2.5 plus 164. Yeah, I think that hits. Man. Membership coming today. My name is George. I look forward to taking on the Discord. George Gutierrez, ring a ding ding, joining up. He did this, you guys. He just gave his Uncle Weezy money. Now, the rest of you bums, where are you? Look at George Gutierrez II. He's giving his Uncle Weezy money. The rest of you guys that aren't on the odd, you're bums. So thank you, George. Thank you, George Gutierrez. Stand up. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the Discord, brother, and I'm looking forward to making some money together with you. Somebody I used to know, says B-Negs. That's a song, I think. That is, we got Torres is white enough to decision Dober. Let's get Greasy, says Olajuwon. I've got a 25% profit boost. What's a good prop this week to drop a quarter half unit on? Let's look. How about Gautier round 1? I think that's not bad. I think Hubbard by decision plus 225. Costa by decision plus 310. Gautier to win in round 1 plus 265. Those would be the spots that I would look at, Remora. Those are the ones I would look at. How about if I think you got a 25% profit boost. It's probably on Bet Rivers. How about Shirez to win in rounds 1 or 2 at plus 250? That's what I would do, dude. Yeah, me too. I'm very surprised that he stayed at minus 275 all week. This seems so square, but do you guys, yes, you guys in the YouTube section, I know you guys can see this. Martinez plus Emmers, plus Moreno, plus 105. I think it hits. I'd be surprised if any of those. Well, I wouldn't be that surprised if Moreno lost, but I'd be surprised if Emmers fucked it up. I'd be surprised if Martinez fucked this up. Rafa Garcia just shaved the ass and goofy mustache of Vince Fischel. Quackenbush likes it. I see Kelvin running away the whole fight, potentially. Taking a shot on plus 300. I think Pfeiffer could blow his load in the first, and Kelvin takes over in 2 and 3. We shall see, though. At Remora, you can power up a double ad on the Misa Michi Yakubi money line. We got, and Bean Eggs likes it. Yep, Olajuwon. Drew Dober is plus 550 right now. Drew Dauber. Money line, never. Yeah, it's definitely not. Yeah. Fob saying, oh, yes, we got exclusive saying left from my ass. I've only one Mexican on the parlay. Respect. We all remember Los Noches. It was like 2 weeks ago. We got my guy Dan Levy in here saying, smash the like button, gentlemen. We got the bookie man saying, Monkey's going to rein in on the Hubbard versus Madero's fight when the walkout, when you see who's in the corners. Money's going to rein in. Oh, okay. Yeah. Tell us who is going to be in the corners, man. Tell us who's going to be in the corners. Yeah, man, good to see Dan Levy hanging out in here. He did a great show with Brandon Olivas this week. You guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, check that one out. Great show. I watched it last night. We got hit the like. We were at 17. Let's go. Let's hit that like button. Absolutely. KD Matana, my guy, the godfather in the room, saying, Uncle Weezy the GOAT. Good to see you hanging out in here, brother. And sorry, can't use my PayPal and shit another time. Oh, well. We got AJ Worst saying leader of men. We've got Hib Comer saying with the 10-pound donation saying thank you, Unc, for all your wisdom. Ring a ding ding, you guys. The 10-pound donation. Appreciate you, Hick Bomber. Keeping the lights on here in your Uncle Weezy studio. Truly appreciate the generosity, my man. Bean Egg saying Uncle Weezy has been the best prediction guy on YouTube. His consistency is amazing. Truly appreciate that, Bean Eggs. Matt Smith saying, I joined Premium Weezy last week. Very happy with the decision, especially if you do your own tape study. He's saving me a ton of time with his proprietary data. Absolutely worth the $25 a month. Thank you so much, Matt. I work really hard on this product, you guys. Frankly, on Fridays when it's time for me to do this show, the last 3 weeks, because it's been such a long stretch, we're I think on week 9 of an 11-week stretch or on week 10 of a 12-week stretch. I'm burnt out. I don't take any weeks off or any days off, I should say. You know, right after fight day on Saturday, I'm doing stat diggers on Sunday. On Monday and Tuesday, I'm watching like 10 hours of tape each day and doing like 4 or 5 hours of writing. It's every day. You know, I don't get a day off when we go on these long stretches, and I'm really getting burnt out. So, like when it comes to Friday, like I just set this link up like a half an hour before I went live. Frankly, I didn't even want to do it. I'm exhausted, and showing up for free here on YouTube, you know, it's just unpaid work for me, you know? So I that's why I work so hard for people like Matt, you know, these people who do join the premium, who do click that link in the description of the video. You'll find out if you do join up, like how hard I work, you know, because you see this one video a week here on this channel and it's got a lot of good information, but I assure you the stuff that my paid members are getting is so much more valuable than that. And, you know, I mean, it's just, it's exhausting even showing up now for free because of the amount of work that I do. I would love to just take Fridays off and to like hang out with my friends and shit, but I don't even have a choice to do that. I gotta start doing stats after this. So 5-rounder versus Hermanson is way different. Couldn't agree more. Pale White Corpse in the room saying, bro had a whole YouTube series saying missing weight with Kelvin Gastelum. Yes, he did. He was so true. He did. He would go like to food trucks and stuff like that around the area, you know, and eat really good food, you know. I can't blame Kelvin. I like good food too, man. We got my guy, the Godfather, who is a supporter, who doesn't just say this, like, support your Uncle Weezy and give him money now. He gives me money. This guy even gave me a fat tip last week because his parlays hit like massive. So truly appreciate the Godfather. And he does mean it, and he does support my work, and I truly appreciate it. We got Beanegg saying 3-rounder at that elevation is way different. We got Chase Hurst in the room saying Connor Halliday, you are the worst better ever. I don't know who Connor Halliday is, actually. We got Andrew Nance in the room saying, sup, Weezy? What's up, dude? We got Robert Saladino saying, overbets can be manipulated by both fighters very easily, even if both are trying to win. Yeah, dude, I'm putting less and less money on time bets these days. Overlord Zero saying, Weezy, how do you know when a lot of money is coming in on a fighter? It just means that the price keeps getting more expensive. So the risk management department, it's the same tools that we used when I was a trader on the floor of the Chicago Stock Exchange. There's bids, there's offers, there's buy interest, there's sell interest, and however many buyers there are matched up with the amount of sellers there are determines how the market moves. And we saw Drew Dober, a plus 110 underdog earlier in the week, and then he went to minus 120. So that indicates a lot of money coming in on Dober, and then the pendulum is starting to swing back the other way as some of this Torres money is starting to come in now. So just as the price goes from minus 150 to minus 170 to minus 190, as that price keeps going up, that's how you know money is coming in on that fighter. MMA Short saying, any long shots this week? You appreciate the work. Austin Hubbard by submission at plus 1,400. My guy, the bookie man, who is in the chat right now, is telling me that is a thing this week. So Hubbard by submission is a good long shot prop. I think Christian Rodriguez to win in round 3, even though I'm picking Melky Costa to win. Christian Rodriguez to win in round 3 a plus 1,600 is a number I like a lot this week because Christian Rodriguez consistently has very good round 3s and excellent conditioning. So those are 2 big plus money props that I'll throw out there for you, MMA Shorts. Enlighten my opinion, saying, oi, from Illinois, let's get that Austin Hubbard money. Dixon, Illinois, stand up. Valley Flow Striking, stand up. Chicago, Illinois, stand up. Austin Hubbard's coming for that ass, ladies and gentlemen. And he is your Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking Pick of the Week. We got my guy, Barry McCockiner, in the room saying, sup, Unc? I didn't click the bell. Did we talk about how good Ronaldo looked? Yeah, we did. And it wasn't how good he looked. It was how bad he looked on that scale, man. Did not look good for Ronaldo Rodriguez. He looked like he just lost his mom. That was like the expression on his face. Not good, man. So we'll see how that translates tomorrow. I can see some money coming in on Borjas. We got one shot in the room saying, on the record, Weezy, I'm already on your Patreon and we'll be switching over once I have the mental bandwidth. Truly appreciate you, my man. Yeah, everybody that's on the Patreon, everybody that's on the Dub Club, it's time to switch it over to the Odds Shopper. The High Owl in the room saying, can I interest you in Medina by sub plus 1,600 or something? No thanks, man. I don't think Medina's going to win. I don't think even if Gauthier gasses out, I think Gauthier could still win the minutes of the second and the third rounds, man. So there we go. And Muhammad Bruce Lee saying, there we go. I have signed up over at the Odds Shopper. Give Uncle Weezy money now. Cancel that Dub Club membership and get over to the Odds Shopper. Truly appreciate you, Muhammad. There we go. Another one. Ring a ding ding. Man, if I get 10 signups, I'm going live tonight at 10 p.m. Central Time, or at least just after, whenever Narco Cop and Tim are done with the Lambo Plays podcast. If I get 10 signups on my Odds Shopper from the time that this video started to 10 o'clock tonight, I'll go live for a free episode of Ask Weezy for the people. We got VB saying, thanks, mate. Absolutely, dude. We got Loco saying, do you think Moreno could finish Erceg? I think it's in the cards, but I do think that this fight's going to go the full 15 minutes. COD Live says, Weezy, what's up, dude? We got my guy Tajik Bey in the room saying, Pichel by decision. No, better everywhere, in my opinion. So Pichel by decision at plus 575, Tajik Bey, is a huge number. And I think Pichel is, even at 42 years old, fairly well matched in skills with Rafa Garcia. So I don't mind it. I'm picking Rafa to win, but I think it's going to be a close fight. Loco saying, do you think Moreno could finish Erceg? Potentially, yes. We got SF saying Pfeiffer sub. That is my pick. I got Pfeiffer by second round submission And I do think that it is in the play. It is in play because Gastelum is so durable. So maybe he gets a knockdown in the club and sub, or maybe he looks for takedowns and winds up getting into top position and finding some success like Sean Brady did. We got Forrest saying, Uncle Weezy, how did you and Brady from DFS meet? I love you too on Stat Diggers Weekly. So I used to be on Brady's Patreon back in the day when I graduated the second time from college. I went back to study statistics at the Harvard of the Midwest, Northern Illinois University. Go Huskies. After I got that degree, I was looking for work, and I was trying to interview for jobs and stuff like that. And I was playing a lot of MMA DFS at the time. And I was kind of creating these spreadsheets that tracked stats that DraftKings didn't track. And I started kind of like, I was very active in Brady's Discord, and I started sending him my stats, and he liked the stats, and he was like, I'd like to offer these to my Patreon people, and he paid me for them. And then we started talking a lot more in the DMs and sharing information. And when I made a video that showed how to use my advanced stats spreadsheets for Brady's customers, he was like, dude, you got a good voice, and you got a good presence. We should work together. So that's how we wound up working together. I was just a member of his Patreon, and we wound up kind of talking a lot through the Discord there. Bro, my cousin supported many a college education. Heavenly bodies. Fucking hilarious, dude. We got Michael Askelond in the room saying tired people tap, but you still need somebody who knows how to tap. It's so true, man. Like Gautier is going to get tired, but you know what kind of top game does Medina have? We'll find out. We got CIDIC. I don't even know how to say that, but he's saying Weezy is repping Spiritualized. Respect. One of my favorite bands of all time, man. Dude, I saw Spiritualized in 1992 at the Harvard of the Midwest, Northern Illinois University. They opened up for the Jesus and Mary Chain and Curve. I had a math test I had to take that night. Got to see Spiritualized on the Laser Guided Melodies tour. It was phenomenal, and they've just got better from there on. So one of my favorite bands of all time. Jason Pierce, respect. Spiritualized, respect. Love that band. Weezy's the best in the game, says my guy Jacob Cole. AJ Quackenbush, KY Quackenbush is a quack. We got Pale White Corpse saying facts. We got Colin Weezy's picks brain dead is actually brain dead. We got the bookie man saying Cracker Barrel needs to chill, coming on someone YouTube talking shit. My boy, you came here for advice for a reason. We got Muhammad saying talk your shit, Weezy. Yes, sir. We got Weezy the best, says MMA Shorts. Last time Melk fought, I hit a 7-leg 250-1 method of victory double chance off of all of his reads. God damn, that's a big hit. I love it, MMA Shorts. Happy to hear that. My guy Tajik Bey is saying that Pilastri should be the favorite. This line makes zero sense. I mean, I guess we'll find out. I think Pilastri is pretty good, but I mean, she got really badly outstruck by Josephine Knutson at range. But I mean, Josephine Knutson's an elite Muay Thai striker. And I think that she could get taken down like we saw in the Brenda Gotig fight, like we saw in the third round of the Corey McKenna fight. So if Loopy does wrestle here, I think she could potentially look her price tag. But I think if she doesn't, Pilastri's going to be able to hang in the distance striking exchanges and is going to be able to make it very competitive. So it's a very interesting fight. Bum needs to take his look. I mean, he's just passionate on the Christian Rodriguez side, and I get it. I bet Christian Rodriguez against Bashi. I bet Christian Rodriguez against Simon. I bet Christian Rodriguez against Rosas. I've cashed on this dude numerous times. I am a believer in Christian Rodriguez. He's a very good fighter. Zila YT in the room saying, "Oi, a Loopy Emmers parlay. What could possibly go wrong? Absolutely nothing. It's 100% sure. It's a lock." We got the bookie man saying, "If I quack and bum to the gym, I'll roll his ass," and he means that. This dude, is out there at Valley Flow striking, training with killers like Bilal and Yair and Radke and all those guys who would absolutely take your soul. Askelin saying, great call on Melky striking. Nonsense about him losing to Philly on the feet. Ate him up with body kicks. Some of the cleanest Muay Thai out there. Yeah, dude, I really like both of these guys. The fact that Rodriguez versus Costa is not on the main card is ridiculous. That is one of the highest level fights on this card. Goat is here, says Muhammad. Yes, sir. Matumbo Jeremias in the room saying Palastri made it look competitive with Jasmine Jasdavicius is a 115er. Lupi is anything but a lock. Yeah, you don't call Lupi Godinez a lock. That's for sure. Bet 365 was the one who limited you. Yeah. They commonly misprice their strike props. Just don't hit them big. It's true that nothing in MMA is a lock, but I feel like Moreno is the closest thing to it. I don't see how Erceg can win. Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, I think Erceg's got good boxing. I think he's a good fighter, but I don't, it's going to be a competitive fight, I think. Let's cash this four-legger, says Olajuwon. We got Muhammad with the light bulb or the pies. Yes, the pies. There we go, man. Let's get it. We got, how do you feel about a Miranda sub? I think it could happen, dude. I mean, first round sub, second round sub, I think that's usually when he gets his submissions. So either just play the sub prop straight or round 1, 2. I think those are good looks. I think it could happen. Emmers makes mistakes. Pie is the king of pies. I love it, man. We got Elliot saying steak and kidney pies on top. For me, it's the shepherd's pie. I love the shepherd's pie, man. One of my favorites, dude. Keep up the great calls, Weezy, says my guy Don Boone. We got steak and ale, says Muhammad Bruce Lee. We got ring-a-ding-ding, says Jacob Cole, for being the best. Once they legalize sports betting in Missouri, I'm joining the crew, Unc. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for the $5 donation, Jacob. That means a lot, brother, helping out the cause over here at your Uncle Weezy's YouTube channel. We got Novo86 saying he forgot about the steak and ale. I'm now questioning my pie pick. Yeah, now it's like, yeah, that's a bad pie pick. Steak and ale minus 500. Let's go, man. Dober, a great play, says Don Boone. I agree, man. I really like Drew Dober this week. I'm really kind of confused by the line. But like I say, all of my read is telling me that I love the Dober side, but I'm surprised that the market is keeping it this close. There's a lot of people on that Torres side. And I'm, they're pretty passionate about their side. So I can't wait for that fight. Elliot Crane saying, I don't know if I should go Dover round 2 or Torres round 1. Go Dover round 2. The show's a live dog, says Don Boone. Weezy, can I pay you in weed for a hot shot? We'll meet up one of these days, Jeff. I know you're a Chicago guy, dude. We could figure something out, my man. We got Mr. Glista in the room with the $5 donation. Ring-a-ding-ding, saying let's stack them like flapjacks. Oi! We got Don Boone saying Erceg fast enough to make a Moreno miss. If active, I'm looking at a decision win, possibly a sub late. I don't know if he's going to sub Moreno. Moreno's never been finished. Never once. I mean, think about it. This guy's had like 9 fights that were 5 rounds at the UFC level, fighting the top fighters in the division, and he's never been finished. So it's going to be very difficult. Torres Dober ends round 1. I like it, Genova. I think that's a great play. Under 1.5, fight ends round 1. That's how I would play violence in the Torres Dober fight. Either one of those bets gets the Uncle Weezy stamp of approval. Genova, good to see you hanging out in here, brother. Action Jackson with the flapjacks. We got Damare saying Miranda sub 1 or Borjas by KO are great props. Yeah, I think they're both good. Yeah, I agree with you, Damare. I like both of those because Borjas by KO right now, after seeing what Lazy Boy looked on the scales, like, man, I think that's going to have some meat on the bone for sure. And Miranda sub 1 is basically 80% of his win condition. Jeff saying that he likes Medeiros. Dude is a very sharp striker. We haven't not seen his best. We saw his jittery debut version, I think. And I think Landon Quinones is actually an underrated fighter. So I don't think that was a bad performance at all by Medeiros against a good fighter in Landon Quinones. But this is still a step up in competition for him. Medeiros injured recently, had to pull out of a fight. And he's on a 1 year plus layoff. So Hubbard just a lot more active, a lot more tested, better wrestler, better pace, and more reliable conditioning. So I'm happy to take him at plus money, but I don't think Markel Medeiros is bad. Kelvin brought this dude from my gym on Elston for additional wrestling coaching, apparently. Okay. Elston Avenue, stand up, man. It's I'm right off of Elston Avenue here in the Avondale neighborhood of Chicago. Yeah, what gym on Elston? I'm interested to know. Don Boone saying Pfeiffer will be shaving some ass. He may even milk Gastelum too. I could see it happening, dude. The Rebel saying, Mr. Weezy, what do you think about lazy boy Borjas going or not going to the third round? I think fight doesn't go to decision or finishing in rounds 1 or 2 are the ways that I would play it. I do like that fight to finish inside the distance, Mr. Rebel. Mr. Glista saying, I think that Dono was euros, not pound. Yeah, it was. God damn it. I got to work on my money on my money symbols. That was definitely euros and not Great British pound. I feel like a prick now because I know the difference. I swear to God, I do. I took actuarial exams that dealt with currency, conversions and shit like that. God damn it. Thank you for correcting me, Mr. Glista, because that was a shitty mistake by me. Let's beat these bookies with a bag of oranges, says AJ Wurs. I want to buy a bunch of shit and bet MGM to pay for those things. Let's go, man. That's always the fun way. So let's do it. We got Mr. Glista saying that the Rebel Cody Saftik of Dogger Pass slightly likes Borjas. Brady DFS by the numbers, some slightly likes Rodriguez. Flip a coin. Yeah, I hear you, man. We got my guy Kiwi Brew in the room saying, Churl, what is up, Kiwi? We got Show Enough saying, Oi, Uncle, people smash those likes and give Unc that money. Let's go, man. We got Muhammad saying Weezy is one of the real ones and offers a real product. Many of these guys who sell picks are better salesmen than gamblers. Weezy has some great insight. Give him money now. You give your Uncle Weezy money now. You give me money now. Thank you, Muhammad. I truly appreciate that, dude. That means a lot, dude. Can we make it over 2.5 rounds? Yes. We got let's go, Unc, says Colby. We got Mr. Glista saying at this elevation, Eileen, no. We got the Rebel saying, is it good for Garcia Pichel over 1.5 rounds? Yes, I think that fight goes over 1.5 rounds. Absolutely. Damn, I missed the whole show. I got to go back and watch Long Day at the Office, Weezy. Good to see you, Michael. Another guy that supports the Odd Shopper and is a really generous guy that helps his Uncle Weezy out regularly. Good to see Michael hanging out in here, man. We got a good show for you today. We got Rich Indy in the room saying Out of Sight by Spiritualized, one of the greatest songs of all time. That is an absolute fucking banger. Out of mind is always out of sight. Really one of my favorite, my two favorite songwriters of like the 90s were Jason Pierce from Spiritualized and Greg Dooley from the Afghan Wigs and Twilight Singers and Gutter Twins. They wrote some of the best songs, and like Out of Sight is one of those great, like the lyrics of that song are just fucking amazing. I love that one. Yeah, an amazing production. Spiritualized live. It's just their sound is crystal fucking clear, and they are so tight. Their drummer is incredible. Absolutely love Spiritualized. No matter what, there's going to be some weirdness on this card. Someone who shouldn't gas out will. Someone who should won't. Yeah, for sure, man. Robert McElroy saying, Uncle Weezy, the man. Appreciate you, Robert. We got Exclusive saying, I know we are bums and all, but your Shove It parlay. I've got it. Maybe I'll give it to you guys. I don't know. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I've got to take this job and Shove It parlay. It's in the chamber, Maybe I'll give it to you guys at the end of the show here. We got Benjamin Andre in the room saying, Oi, what's up, Uncle? Give me a 4-leg parlay to save the ass this week. Always here, my brother. Yeah, the 4-leg parlay this week is going to be a 4-leg money line parlay. Austin Hubbard money line, Edgar Chairez money line, the Body Bags Pfeiffer money line, and the Drew Dober money line. If you do it on Bet Online, that parlay is going to come out to plus 761 this week. All right. And we've got exclusive Oro saying, my boy, just rewind it. Don't make Uncle repeat himself. He's too busy. We got it quickly out there, man. I know folks on Borjas by KO. Yeah, I think it's a good look, man. Don saying Loopy better butter her bread. I think she might if she gets the wrestling going. Okay, it's hybrid martial arts on Elston. Okay, cool, man. Now that I haven't heard of that place, but Elston's a long ass street, so maybe that's why. Maybe it's not close to me. Victor de Jesus saying, "Oi, what's up, Weezy in chat? Glad to catch you live. I'm usually working, studying, or dead asleep, dude. You've been on absolute fire these last few weeks. Best of luck this weekend. I'm hoping it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, Victor." I know you must be working your ass off, brother. Keep working. Keep that nose to the grindstone. Good things come to people who put in the work, my man. Good to see you hanging out here live. We got Lonnie Lozano saying, any insights from the weigh-ins? I didn't think Lazy Boy looked good. I didn't think Simon Oliveira looked good. So those were the guys that I think looked the worst and that I'm worried about. What about you? Yeah, we've talked about that already. I think that's a pretty good play, man. I like it. Hey, Weezy, how do you feel about Hubbard Medeiros over 1.5 rounds? Thank you very, very much for your great job and huge respect from Russia. I like the Hubbard Medeiros over 1.5 as well. I know it's got to be really juiced, really expensive, but I think it hits. We got Martin saying, greetings from Chile. Howla, future champ. Yeah, man. Ignacio Bahamondes. Representing the great country of Chile. Yeah, man, I think he could be a future champ. He's a phenomenal fighter. Just north of Addison, so it's going to be like in the 3,500 block. Okay, got you, because I'm right off of Addison. I mean, shit, man, I'm right off of between Diversey and Belmont there. But they have bad signage. And then we got keep up the money stacking momentum. Uncle Weezy says, my guy Swinger in there. We got Jeff K in the room saying probably close to you, but they have bad signage. Got it, man. All right, you guys, we did it. Almost 2 hours here. I will give you guys to take this job and shove it, Parlay. What the hell? Because I really would love it if you guys, could go to your boss's office tomorrow or on Monday and just, kick over the garbage can and say, I quit. And the way that we're going to do that is with a plus 3,400 parlay of Austin Hubbard by decision, Drew Dober by KO, Melky Costa by decision, comes out to plus 3,404 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. Thank you guys for your support. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And please consider joining that odds shopper. Give your Uncle Weezy money now. And if I see 10 people signed up today, after the Lambeau Plays podcast tonight, I'll go live for a free version of Ask Weezy. So thank you guys for watching. Let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks for UFC Mexico City. And good luck on all your bets. Let's hit these parlays. Let's hit these picks. And let's have another positive week. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Good luck on all your bets, and we'll see you on Sunday for Stat Diggers.